Welcome, friends. Today, we're doing another rant video. Scandalous. That is right, my friends. Once again, I have returned to you, this time with a rant video. And I will be ranting and raving, no doubt. By the end of this video, I suppose I will be taken away by the men in white coats. For I will be ranting about a situation in perfume which has arisen over the last 10 years or so. And that situation is the arbitrary layering of perfume. Now, let me try and define the problem. It's pretty self-explanatory, but there are many problems that arise from a very simple problem. You know, there's one issue, many problems with said issue. People, in their infinite fucking wisdom, decided to start putting random perfumes on top of each other and then telling themselves that it smelled good. So you would have people, I don't know, people layering things like fucking La Nuit de l'Homme and Tour de Hermes. Let's see how that smells together. It smells shit. That's how it smells together. There are no fucking combinations of perfumes that you have plucked out of your arse, applied them to your skin that have smelled good. They haven't. I do not care. There is no mitigation here. You are wrong, intensely wrong, a lot wrong, all the wrong. That's you. Stop that. More often than not, when I see people, these people talk about layering, they are putting on things that they claim are related to each other or complement each other, or they bring out different things in each other. They smell great together. Lies. These perfumes are not people. These perfumes were not made to be done dirty like that. You are not a creative genius. On the contrary, you may have something profoundly wrong with you. You are spraying chemicals upon yourself which have been, in the main, very carefully and expertly constructed by very well-trained and infinitely more intelligent people than you and me to smell a very particular way, you know? Now, they might smell simple to you. Again, that should be a warning to you. They might seem as though they would go perfectly, and when you spray them on, you have convinced yourself of your greatness because you have just spent and wasted considerable sums just by putting a few sprays on top of each other. You know? Another problem with this is that people seem to be proud of it. This is a problem that's more general and widespread in society. People celebrate their idiocy a lot these days. You know, stupid people are famous now because it gets clicks, you know, because they get interaction, they get thumbs up, they get pats on the back online. I am of a certain age where I can remember where if you did something so stupid, not only would people tell you that you were stupid for doing stupid things, there was a possibility of there being a physical altercation if it was of such stupidity that it warranted it. You know? That's not a thing these days. People are praised for being stupid on the internet. There's this kind of death cycle, this death spiral, where we're in some kind of race to the bottom, you know, where you apply... I'm extrapolating out into society here, but it's part of a wider problem where people think they're smarter than experts in their field. Highly trained, highly qualified, very creative people work very hard and understand in great detail how these particular things work. And some absolute fucking menace on the internet comes along and says, nah, fuck that. I'm going to apply fucking... I'm going to apply Lamal and Issey Miyake Pohom, L'Odyssée, over the top of each other, and I'm going to say that it smells good, and people are going to say, oh yeah, I did something similar. It's you're wrong. You're just wrong. All right? Stop. Your layering has gone too far. You are not creative. You are throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks. And by what sticks, I don't mean what actually smells coherent and good. I mean what gets you clicks online. I realise the irony as I'm posting this as a video on YouTube, but you know. I don't expect you to appreciate irony if you're the type of person to do these sort of things. Perfumes are created singularly by themselves to smell good by themselves, to smell a very particular way by themselves. When you apply a completely different fragrance or even a quote-unquote similar perfume to it, such as a flanker or a perfume from the same house or a perfume with similar notes or ingredients even, you have completely destroyed the original intent of both of those separate perfumes. You are not creating something new. You are destroying two separate things. You are killing two birds with one clusterfuck. The reason brands give tacit encouragement to this is because it makes you buy more perfume. A salesperson in a shop will tell you, if you ask them, can I layer these two perfumes? Yes. I would say it's 50 to 1. Even the dog's fucking enraged. I would say it's at least, it would be probably closer to 100 to 1, because a salesperson's job is to get your money, not to inform you. You know? They're not looking to tell you or enlighten you, encourage you to learn for yourself, only in that if you learn by losing your money. They are simply there to sell you perfumes. Yes, you can layer Leather Oud with Oud Ispahan. But if you do, it'll smell terrible. But at least they'll have sold you 2 bottles of perfume. which you will then inevitably end up wearing singularly, you know, if you have anything about you and learn the fucking folly of your ways, which I don't have any trust in anyone on the internet to do. There is one and only one exception to this. And I have brought out these 3 perfumes you see before you. Now, it's not limited to these perfumes in particular. This is just an example of what I'm talking about. You can only layer perfumes with perfumes that are made to be used together if they are the same perfume. Now, let me explain that properly. I need you to listen here very, very, very carefully. Okay? Originally, perfumes were made to cover up other bad smells. Okay? I suppose the modern equivalent would be you would probably need a perfume to cover up your shocking choice of layering perfumes, you know, but that's by the by. So you would have perfumes to fucking cover up body odours or like the smell of like fucking shit in the street or all that sort of thing. And then there came cleaning products, you know. Cleaning products don't tend to smell nice for very long. They tend to come and go very quickly, you know. Now, up until 30 years ago, layering would be a very specific process, right? You would go out, say you were going out somewhere. People used to socialize in person, not on the internet like we are doing now. I realize the irony of that. People would go to bars, pubs, clubs. They would go for meals. They would have friends. None of us. Doesn't matter. They would meet people and they would want to smell nice. You would go into the bathroom and you would use, I don't know, let's take fucking women going into the bathroom and using like a Chanel No. 5 shower gel. I don't know if they ever did a shower gel, or like a bath oil or something like that, and they would use that to clean themselves. On its own, that would not smell for a long time, but it would provide a base. You would get out the shower, towel off, dry off, and stuff like that. Then they would apply a parfum of Chanel No. 5, for example. Then, after that, you would be dressed and everything. You would apply the eau de parfum. And then, throughout the night, throughout the day, whatever you were doing, you would top up with the eau de toilette. That is 4 layers of the same perfume to provide you with a scent all day, all night, for a long time. Now, granted, up to 30 years ago, you needed that kind of layering, mainly because people smoked. There was a lot of smoking went on back in the day, my friends. And that shit gets everywhere and it makes everything stink. Your clothes, your hair, your fucking, your skin. It would get up your nose. It would fucking get down your throat into your lungs. So you needed a lot of perfume to make yourself smell strong. They didn't have back in the day those fucking nuclear fucking chemicals that they use now. Amber woods, which is what everything smells like after fucking 20 minutes of wearing, that's released these days. Akigala wood, fucking Ambra Fix, all that horrible shit that modern perfumes are made of now. They didn't have stuff like that. They had to use accords, which created large molecules, which would stay around for a long time. They had to use parfums, extrait de parfums. They had to use eau de parfums on the top of those, and then the eau de toilette to top up those, you know? Now, what's changed in the last 30 years? Smoking has become much less socially acceptable. In some places, illegal. You know? Do I think that's a good idea? Probably. On the balance of it, yeah. There is very famous cases, especially in the UK. I think it was called Roy Castle, who was an entertainer, and he got lung cancer, a very particular kind of lung cancer, where he actually developed it, and the particular strain of lung cancer is caused by smoking. Unfortunately for Roy Castle, he never smoked a day in his life, but he had spent a lot of his life working in clubs, entertaining people, inhaling the smoke. It's not fair. He died because of that. Right? Plus, obviously, fucking smoking is bad for the people who actually smoke as well. So, how many times have you heard smokers say, I wish I'd never taken it up? But that's by the by. We don't need perfumes to be that powerful anymore, because we don't have to compete against cigarette smoke, especially in work environments. Yes, people used to smoke at work, especially in cars, especially in small rooms. You know, people don't socialize like they used to. People socialize on a much more individual basis. People don't socialize in big groups very often anymore. You know? Everybody wants to be individual, yet everybody smells the same. That's something else I could fucking rant about. Also, chemicals have been developed, as I mentioned earlier, that will make perfumes stand out. That will make perfumes perform hugely. But they all smell very similar. The only acceptable form of layering perfume is still the one that was acceptable 50 and 60 years ago. And that is where you layer the same perfume in different concentrations on top of itself. I've brought out these because these are the examples I have to show you. This is Vanille Havane. This is... I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can. Of course you can't, because I'm trying to show you it. That's an eau de parfum. Doesn't tell you what the concentration is. I mean, God, that's fucking glorious. Anyway, but here I have the Extrait Absolu. Now, as you can see, I have Orange Sirocco, which is the eau de parfum, and I have the Extrait Absolu here. I have Rose de Jamal here, and the Extrait Absolu. You cannot, or should not, wear the Orange Sirocco Extrait Absolu with Vanille Havane. Right? People will say, that infringes on my freedom. I'll do whatever I want. Yes, you will, but you'll be wrong. It's as simple as that. It's the same as layering with La Nuit de l'Homme with fucking Encre Noir. You can, doesn't mean you should. Fuck's sake. You can, however, and should, layer Vanille Havane, eau de parfum, with Vanille Havane, Extrait Absolu, and so on and so on. They have slightly different qualities, but they are overall the same. And most importantly, they make a coherent smell, instead of some absolute clusterfuck of two perfumes that don't belong on the same continent as each other. You could easily wear those two perfumes day after day, separately, but at the same time, no. You know, it's a bad combination. Like Mr. and Mrs. fucking Hitler, the night he was conceived, was bad combination. You know? Shit. It's not ideal. It's not what we want. Look how that ended. Layering perfume. It's not great. It's a bad idea. You're doing it wrong. The thing is about these is that you don't need to buy those to enjoy each of them individually. And that's the same thing with layering as well. The way you're doing it wrongly. You don't need to buy both. Enjoy each one as it was intended. It's like playing two songs at the same time. They're both good songs. They were made by people who are creative and know what they're doing, and they're talented, and they made it to be listened to as is. You don't play two different songs at the same fucking time unless there's something severely wrong with you, which is what I would suggest you are doing when you are layering these two separate perfumes that have nothing to do with each other. It's like watching two TV programs or two movies at the same time. It's a disaster. Brands encourage it because they sell more perfumes. People encourage it with each other because that's the world we live in now. People think they're smart, they want clicks. Speaking of which, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I will see you again soon.